Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunathira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Ballabha Girivardhari Muchas gracias. Girivardhari Jashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Sri Radha Madhava ki jai, Sri Radha Giridhari ki jai, Shri Kartik Bhatta ki jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Jaja Shudarashi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Jaja Shudarashi Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sri Dhammatar Bhatta ki jai. Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Vishnuparaya Krishna Mastaya Gauravani Vacharani Nivashesha Sri Nivari Vasatyadesha.
he didn't have room to put the H at the end of the first line.
Yes, bandanaha.
Yeah, but actually, you don't kick it in on the second line or the fourth line. But
yeah.
So it's not any great significance.
Okay. So this is the month of Damodar and Kartik. There are many different things recommended for devotees to take advantage of the super excellent feature of this month, that any kind of devotional service you do is amplified or multiplied, the benefit. And sometimes devotees will take a brata, a vow, to do something special in this month. Sometimes I've talked to devotees and they gave up eating sweets. It was not anymore. Sometimes it is recommended to increase your hearing and chanting. Sometimes devotees will add a round or two, or maybe chant 25 rounds a day like they do on Ekadasi, or read Srimad Bhagavatam more, and so on. So has everyone here taken a vow? Or are you going to work on it today? Because it's pratipat. Has anyone? Like that. But, it's like Darpan. It's like clockwork. When Darpan's here, every single day, the month of Kartik, he comes, takes darshan, and takes some prasad with him. Wonderful devotee, like that. The Darpan darshan, like that. So no, but it's even if it's something, it should be something that you can do, but a little something every day. Like that. Maybe you want to give up offending devotees for 30 days. Oh, good. That's a tough one. Like I'm going to zip the lip. When I want to say something, I'm not going to say it for 30 days. Or here's an easy one: glorify a devotee every single day. Make it a point to go up to like Dravida Prabhu and say, "Namo Namo Dravida Ashraya, I take shelter of you, please forgive me," whatever. And I'm not kidding, it's just, different things like that, it's amplified. So if you glorify the devotees, offer some special service to them, avoid offending them, chanting the holy names, all these different things are recommended. And of course, every single day, singing the song that we just sang to Lord Damodar, and offering a lamp, a diya, like that. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, today we're reading from the 8th canto, chapter 24. Just have a few more verses in this chapter, another week or so. This is text 47. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jano Buddho Yam Nijakarma Bandhana Sukchichaya Karma Samihate Sukham Yatsevaya Tam Virunoti Asanmatim Grantim Sa Binjad Dardayam Sa No Guru Jano Buddhayam. Is this Brahma Samhita? No, it's the other one. Yeah. Jano Buddhayam Nija Karma Bandhana Suchechaya Karma Samihite Sukham Yatsevaya Tam Virunotya Sanmatim Gratim Sabindyadayam Sano Guru Jano Buddhoyam Nija Karma Bandhana Sukchechaya Karma Samihate Sukham Yat sevaya tam virunotya sanmatim Gratim sabindyadadayam sano guruhu Jano buddhoyam nija karma bandhana Sukhechaya karma samihate sukham Yat sevaya tam virunotya sammatim Gratim sabindyadadayam sano guruhu Gratim, Grantim. Does it say rat? Say rat? Grantim, yeah, not. Anyone else here in the room, ladies? Jano buddhoyam nija karma bandhana online, across the waves. Janaha, the conditioned soul subjected to birth and death. Abuddha, most foolish, because of accepting the body as the self. Ayam, he, nija karma bandhanaha, accepting different bodily forms as a result of his sinful activities. Sukha ichchaya, desiring to be happy within this material world. Karma, fruit of activities. Samihate, plans. Asukam, but it is for distress only. Yat sevaya, by rendering unto whom? Tam, the entanglement of karma. Bidunoti, clears up. Asat matim, the unclean mentality, accepting the body as the self. Grantim, hard knot. Saha, his lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Binjat, being cut off. Hridayam, in the core of the heart. Saha, he the Lord. Naha, our Guru, the Supreme Spiritual Master. Okay, for 5 points. Suresh, who's speaking here? Okay, just thought I'd ask. Who's speaking here? Satyavrata Muni. Do you know who he's speaking to? Matsya, right? He's talking to a fish. Can you believe that? And the fish is going to talk back, because it's not a fish, it's the Supreme Personality of Godhead in its form of Matsya. So here he's saying, in hopes of becoming happy in this material world, the foolish conditioned soul performs fruitive activities that result only in suffering. But by rendering service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes free from such false desires for happiness. May my Supreme Spiritual Master cut the knot of false desires from the core of my heart. Purport. For material happiness, the conditioned soul involves himself in fruitive activities which actually put him into material distress. Because a conditioned soul does not know this, he is said to be in avidya, or ignorance. Because of a false hope for happiness, the conditioned soul becomes involved in various plans for material activity. Here, Mahārāja Satyavrata prays that the Lord sever this hard knot of false happiness and thus become his supreme spiritual master. Om Agyantimarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unminitam Ninata Ismai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Svabadandikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Vanchakapatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, by your good wishes and prayers, I'll say a few things. The first thing is Prabhupada refers in the verse as plans, but overall he's talking about a false hope. This word hope, there's a few quotes. One is from Alexander Pope, who's a poet, lived in the late 16th century. There's a famous line. What is that? No. Hope springs eternal in a man's breast. Sometimes they just say, hope springs eternal. So what does that mean? Is that we just keep hoping and hoping and hoping despite all our problems in this material world. In other words, it's called optimism. You have to be optimistic about things because the general experience in the material world is things don't always work out the way we want them to work out. And we have to work very, very hard against so many different obstacles, but just stay in there, you know. Hope springs eternal. It's seen over and over and over again. And on one hand, it's a good quality. If you just give up after one or two tries, and so people just have the tenacious ability to just keep going. So the hope is there. It just keeps going in the heart of a person. And that's what's referred to here. We just never give up. We just keep hoping somehow or other that if we just keep doing what we're doing, we'll be happy. Now, there's another sidelight there, that quote about insanity. You know that quote about insanity?
Yeah. Insanity means doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Right. So it's kind of borders on that one. And then there's another one, hope against hope. It's actually from the Bible. Did you know that? Hope against hope. And that's very, very much what we're talking about in the purport here, that despite all our experience, because, you know, there's two ways to learn something. Did you know that? There's two ways to learn something. First one, an intelligent person learns by hearing. Oh, okay, that's what's going to happen and so on and so on. And it says a fool learns by bitter experience. So either way, the material world is set up in such a way where we learn the lesson. One is better than the other, but if we don't catch it one way, the intelligent way, it's called Shastra and Shastra. Shastra means good instruction. You know what Shastra means? A stick. Whack, 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 whack. Right? If you don't listen to me, you get the stick. They used to actually hit kids in school. Did you know that? The good old days? I'm only kidding. It's not the good old days. They call it a switch. Right? The little stick there. Did you ever get hit in school? Yeah. I got hit once. The teacher used a ruler. You had to put out your hand and whack you. Like that. And it was actually, she called someone with the same name. And it was misidentity. I shouldn't have actually gotten hit, but I did. Whack. Her name was Mrs. Upshaw. Remember that? She liked me, though. But so, even in the 60s, you could get hit in school, right? That was okay. Then they said, you shouldn't do that. And actually, you should. You shouldn't hit children. You should not hit them. You may like hold them or something like that. You never hit kids. You should never get to that point. You should never be such a inexperienced teacher or parent that you don't know how to handle children in such a way where you don't have to. Was that corporal punishment? It shouldn't be there like that. Prabhupada said you can show the stick or you show your finger, but you don't touch them. No, that's the sign. But anyways, we're off on a tangent here. Hope against hope. Despite everything showing us to the contrary, we keep trying to enjoy in this material world. That's what's being brought out here. And they're referring to a hard knot in our hearts, this grantim, that comes up again and again in many different places. And when researching or just any devotee who's read the Bhagavatam, just looking at this verse, practically speaking, every single canto, every single pastime, the same teaching comes up. The Supreme Lord or the spiritual master, the sadhu, is trying to teach that we all have this hard knot in our heart, trying to enjoy the material world. We just don't give up. And then hoping, somehow you meet a bona fide spiritual master, and it all changes. But it's extremely difficult. Just like it's very hard to untie a hard knot, right? Big knot. It's like you look at it and you go, I can't do this. It's impossible. Practically impossible. Like that. So I wanted to refer to a few places in the Bhagavatam, if I might. Probably just reading translations and so on. Because another point that's important is that there are some people on the spiritual path, they realize the same problem. Oh, we got a problem here. Right? There's that famous line from the movie Apollo 13. What was it? Houston, we have a problem. Right? And sometimes I brought that up. Remember, I told the devotees I flew through the Houston airport and I saw a teenager walk by, and on his sweatshirt it said, Houston, I've got a lot of problems. Like that. So not just one. So we have a problem here that we're all suffering in the material world. How do we get out? And there are different spiritual paths trying to solve the problem. Some have the idea, well, just like Buddhism is, we're all suffering because of our desires. We're all suffering because of the pain and suffering we cause others. So just become desireless. That's the solution. If you don't have any desires, then you won't be suffering. That's not a very easy path to follow. In fact, I would say it's impossible, but that's their idea, trying to keep it very simple. We're all suffering because of our material desires. Well, just give up all your desires. So, then personal path. And there's gyan and knowledge, and there's yoga. There's many different paths people try to follow with the aim of ending their suffering in the material world. But here, in this verse, and in our Bhagavatam, in our philosophy, that it's not going to work. It's not going to work because you don't address the real problem, which is the soul in the material world with false desires. We need to get the pramdishtva nivartate, the higher taste of devotional service and Krishna consciousness. And it refers to the core of the heart. What does the core of the heart mean? Innermost recesses of one's heart. And that's where the problem lies. And that's our desire to be independent of Krishna and our giving up of our pure desires to serve Krishna. So, jumping right to some of these other parts of the Bhagavatam, in the first canto, second chapter, there's a few verses here. Because the devotees, the great sages are recommending devotional service as the solution to the problem. So here's a few verses from the second chapter. It says, by rendering, let me read the Sanskrit because everyone knows this verse. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janita Suvairagyam Jnanam Chayada Hoitukam. So he's saying here, by rendering devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. What an amazing medicine. Just by engaging in devotional service, right? Just by engaging in the devotional service, these become manifest in the heart. Jnana varagam, varaga jnanam shad ahoitukam. Knowledge and detachment. That's what we're looking for, is a true understanding of our situation, and understanding our situation as this hard knot in the heart, our attachment to matter, we actually become vairagis. We actually give it up. It's amazing. Because it's what's happening is Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhavamahad Devagni Damapanam. The heart is becoming cleansed. We're not adding anything, we're just washing it off. You know, just like you wash your hands, they're all dirty, you go, oh, look how nice and clean my hands are. All that dirt and grime are gone. So the same thing, the heart, when it's cleansed, it's a very beautiful thing, the heart of a devotee. So that's what's being... And asu means very, very soon. And Prabhupada was once asked, maybe many times, but one time he was asked, what does very soon mean, Srila Prabhupada? You know what his answer was? In this lifetime. In this lifetime. And that's pretty soon. Because what we're trying to deal with here is millions of lifetimes of trying to join the material world. Imagine, you tie a knot, then you tie another knot, and the same knot. Can you imagine do that 1,000,000 times? How big that ball would be? It'd be like really big, 1,000,000, do that 1,000,000 times? I mean, how long do you think that would take someone? To tie 1,000,000 knots all in one place on top of each other. That'd take a long time. So we've been doing that. And then in one lifetime, all gone. Yep, that's the next verse is coming up here. Chidyante. So this is the succession of verses that's quoted many, many times, and you're all participating in one of these verses right now. This is 1, 2, well actually I want to do 15 first, and then we'll jump to 17 through 21. But with sword in hand, intelligent men cut through the binding knots of reactionary work by remembering the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? So especially pertinent in the month of Damodar. And yes. And this is 17 through 21, which devotees are familiar with. This is the whole process of devotional service and what happens. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, the supersoul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So Krishna is in the core of the heart, and he very happily cleanses the core of our heart. So, yes. So this is the yogis and the jnanis and the Buddhists and the thises and the that, they're on their own. They're on their own. Because, Giriraj Maharaj, I'll refer to one pastime, one encounter with Srila Prabhupada, because it brings, the point is, everything outside of devotional service, even the spiritual path, they're not trying to become a servant of Krishna, they're trying to be Krishna, they're still trying to be the enjoyer. Whether you're enjoying the material world or the spiritual world. When Giriraj Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada, and Balaram can fine-tune this if you like, about, how do you know a real guru and this and that and what path to follow? And Prabhupada said, you either want to become God or become the servant of God. And in that conversation, Prabhupada said, if you want to become God, Krishna's not going to help you, just because of the competition. Krishna, but if you want to serve Krishna, Krishna is going to help you. So that's the point. Krishna's in the heart, And for him to completely purify our heart, there's no problem whatsoever. Like that, we just have to have the desire. Whereas if we're left on our own, good luck. So here it is, text 17, 18. By regular attendance, it says on the Bhagavatam. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead who is praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. So you're right in the middle of it right now. You're all right in verse 18 because you're in the Bhagavatam class. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he is completely happy. Thus established in, in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. And this has to do with a knot. The next verse is a knot verse. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruit of actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. That's with a small m. Here's a conclusion. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. So it's a nice succession of verses there. And there's just, we have time. I wanted to read, if you want to get the sauce, one best place from the Bhagavatam is Lord Rishabhdev talking to his sons. Father to son, it's the straight sauce, you know. It's it gets pretty heavy there, like that. Vidbhujam. He said, if you're not a devotee, you're like a stool eater, if you're not engaged in devotional service. We're not going to read that verse, though. Okay. Here it is. Let me just quickly find it. Here it is. And it's verse 10. It's actually his concluding. There's so many wonderful verses because of the time. I just want to read this, then we can talk a little bit. This is a conclusion of his instructions to his sons. This is text 10 through 13. O my sons, you should accept a highly elevated Paramahamsa, a spiritually advanced spiritual master. In this way, you should place your faith and love in me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You should detest sense gratification and tolerate the duality of pleasure and pain. That's a novel concept, isn't it? Because we know about tolerating pain, but do you tolerate pleasure? Yeah. In other words, we think, well, hey, that's not bad. No, you're supposed to tolerate that. In other words, the duality of pleasure, just like you just keep on the path of Krishna consciousness, because both are pulling different directions, pleasure and pain, which are like seasonal changes of summer and winter. Try to realize the miserable condition of living entities who are miserable even in the higher planetary systems. And we have many different pastimes of Lord Indra, who's the king of heaven, suffering like anything. He gets himself in so much trouble like that. Philosophically inquire about the truth, then undergo all kinds of austerities and penances for the sake of devotional service. Give up the endeavor for sense enjoyment and engage in the service of the Lord. Listen to discussions about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always associate with devotees. Chant about and glorify the Supreme Lord and look upon everyone equally on the spiritual platform. Give up enmity and subdue anger and lamentation. Abandon identifying the self with the body and the home and practice reading the revealed scriptures. Live in a secluded place like 1030 Grand Avenue. Just want to see who's awake. Live in a secluded place and practice the process by which you can completely control your life air, mind, and senses. Have full faith in the revealed scriptures, the Vedic literatures, and always observe celibacy. Perform your prescribed duties and avoid unnecessary talks. Always thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, acquire knowledge from the right source. Thus, practicing Bhakti Yoga, you will patiently and enthusiastically be elevated in knowledge and will be able to give up the false ego. Ahankara vimuratmam kartamiti manyate. Prabhupada says in one purport that this hard knot is actually referring to the ahankara, false ego. False ego is that subtle element, if you want to call it, of material nature that binds the soul to the bodily conception of life. Ahankara, false ego. Prabhupada said that's the hard knot. So how to dissolve the false ego? How to dissolve it? You know? They have all kinds of things for dissolving stuff. Actually, what is it? Coca-Cola, they say you put a nail in a jar of Coca-Cola in due course of time, it actually will dissolve it. And people are drinking that stuff? Like that. They even have a new thing now. You want to get grossed out? Want to get a little grossed out? Okay. There's a new thing called water cremation. You familiar with that one? They dissolve the body instead of burning it. Well, it's actually some chemicals and it's called water. To make it sound nice, it's called water cremation. But they put you in a vat of something and it completely dissolve your body. Acha. So, but they can't dissolve the false ego. When you die, you go and your false ego goes with you. But they can dissolve the body. And that's pretty wild stuff now. And then they just kind of like, where would you like this bucket of stuff poured instead of ashes? But apparently it's more environmentally responsible because you have, you burn the body and there's air pollution and all that. This it is, they put you in a vat and within 24 hours you look like water. Pretty nice, huh? Pretty nectar, huh? Anyways, different ways to get rid of it. It's expensive. It costs some money. But as far as dissolving, but you can't dissolve the false ego. What can dissolve the false ego? This is all we just described. Hearing and chanting about Krishna. Associating the process of devotional service dissolves the false ego. And when the false ego is dissolved, what's left? The pure ego. And it's Krishna consciousness. So that we're applying ourselves to this proposal. You can call it a proposal right now if you like. For us, it's a proposal. For those who have followed the path, it's a reality. But for us, it's a proposal. It seems to be a good proposal, right? Just like if someone gives you a proposal, you look through it, maybe send it to your attorney or something like that. Is this a good proposal? Am I okay? So there's a proposal from the devotees, from the Bhagavatam, the Gita, from Krishna. Krishna's making a proposal to Arjuna. So we're trying. And let's see what happens. Is the false ego becoming dissolved? That's what we're trying to do in our process of Krishna consciousness. And in the month of Kartik, whatever the dissolving agent is amped up. You can dissolve a lot of the false ego in Kartik by engaging in the different processes of devotional service. Krishna is very kind. Actually, Srimati Radharani is very kind. Kartik is Radharani's month. Purushottam Kshetra is Krishna's month. But actually, this is Radharani's month. And she is the queen of devotional service, and she gives so many different blessings to devotees for their service during this month. So we can end here. Any questions or comments? Balaram Das, El Presidente.
Just a bit of a small detail, but about the month of Damodar, there seems to be some, maybe not, but there seems to be some confusion in terms of the starting point, because some people think, okay, it's from Purnima to Purnima, which was yesterday, or is it today until, whatever, Purnima. So is there any thoughts about that? Anyone have
My understanding is different people do it different ways. So you just have to pick one and that's what you do. And I don't know if there's an official ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, rule on that or not, but different devotees and sampradayas and groups will follow one or the other. That's my understanding. You'll see that on their calendars. From India?
The following from yesterday and today, the Kartik? Yeah.
Yeah, I screwed up the calendar last year this year. I got it right here. Somehow I was induced to change the date in which we start the ceremonies to the first day of Damodar month. I thought that was logical, but I forgot that we begin on the Purnima, which is always the day before. So, I can't do anything about it now. I mean, certainly everyone should perform it now for the whole month of Damodar.
And if there's an extra day thrown in there, there's an extra day. We get some extra like that. But my understanding is different groups will follow it in different ways, not just this, but also you'll see different months or different things where some will follow like this and some will follow like that. Yeah, yeah. Some will do from Ekadasi to Ekadasi. Is one right and one wrong? No. Just follow one or the other. Like that. So, but we follow. This is what we follow. Like that. So if you don't follow it, get out of here. Go somewhere else. I'm joking. Yes, Prabhu.
Just since we're going to be using those sheets mostly to recite there's a couple little mistakes there that I'd like to let you know about.
But I thought you were the editor. You wrote the new ones.
This isn't a new one.
What isn't?
It's from the old songbook before we fixed it. So the first thing is, this is the wrong one. This is Anil. If we can, it would be good.
Okay, he wants to accept the vrata of making sure we get the new ones printed up, laminated, and distributed. Who are you pointing to? Okay, you can work with David on that, and you'll probably go back to Godhead for doing that.
It's going to be our brat, part of our brat.
Okay.
So the first one is in the first sentence of the second translation. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand. Forget the whipping. I think it was Vyasaki who got it, who told me about it. It was never used to whip him. It was just a stick she was holding.
You know what that stick is?
No, what is it?
It is the stick that Nanda Maharaj uses when he goes out and herds the cows. It's a beautiful jeweled, what do you want to call it? Herding stick. That's what she picked up at the door.
Wow.
And there's this whole pastime about the stick going like, well, no, don't make me, I don't want to hit Krishna. The stick is talking in the pastime, the Acharya but that's what it is. It's actually this beautiful, gorgeous stick that Nanda Maharaj uses when he herds the cows. She grabbed that and started chasing Krishna.
But then when she finally catches him, she throws the stick away.
Yeah, she finally drops it. But that's what it is. It's actually Nanda Maharaj's herding stick. That's what, not whipping stick. I guess we'll leave it to our English editors.
A herding stick. Herding, whipping, forget that.
Not whipping.
Just stick. Stick, okay. That's all. Seeing the stick. And the next one that I can remember, I think these are the only two. Very last sentence. And I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who display unlimited pastimes, not displays. Okay. And there's even this extra space here.
Now, can you change this and give that to Prabhu here to
I can give you
laminate everything? We'll just fix it.
Yeah. I can give you a nice Word file or
there you go.
No problem.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes. Prabhu, microphone.
Okay, so I have two questions. One is, so on the days of different observances, like Ekadasi or appearance days, does it start at sunrise to sunrise and end at sunrise?
Okay, well, I can tell you specifically about Ekadasi. If you look in the simple panchangs, it'll tell you exactly when it starts. Like this last Ekadasi, I remember looking at it. It said Ekadasi starts at 6:40. It was actually a Dwadasi. It said at 6:47 in the morning. Some devotees just look at that and go, "Oh, good. I'll eat some halava at 6 a.m. because it really doesn't officially start." Now, Prabhupada, keep it simple: sunset to sunrise to sunrise. But there's actually a specific time, and it's always listed in the panchang on the calendar, just like we have that specific time to break Ekadasi. It's listed between this time and this time. So, if you want to get very exacting, yes, it's listed when it starts and when it ends, because it has to do with where the moon is. Prabhupada kept it simple, though, and just said, sunrise to sunrise.
Yeah, just like Srila Prabhupada kept the Gayatri, chanting Gayatri simple.
Yes.
He said, when should we chant Gayatri? Prabhupada said, morning, noon, evening. And one devotee, he asked him a couple times, and Prabhupada said, morning, noon, evening. So, but like Dharmasetu Prabhu was saying, morning, noon, evening, if you want to get technical, there's, according to the sun and this and that, the movements, there's certain times throughout the year.
And it's like Gayatri in the morning. It's divided how much benefit you get by when you chant it. It's like when there's still stars in the sky, when the stars are just disappearing, when you can barely see the light coming over the horizon, and then when the sun actually comes over the horizon, there's a progression there of benefit. But I mean, just morning, noon, and evening, like that.
So then my next question is, if Kartik started today at sunrise, if we went to Mangalarti this morning, is it during Kartik? Did we start, or is it tomorrow morning, the first Mangalarti of Kartik?
Well, today is Pratipad. Today is the first lunar day of the month of Damodar. But we're understanding that in our line, we actually started on Purnima, which was yesterday. So you get the benefit of month of Damodar yesterday and today.
Okay, so on an appearance day, it starts at sunrise. When is the Mangalarti for that day?
No, it may not be sunrise. He's just talking about Gayatri, sunrise, noon, and sunset. On specific days, you're fine though.
So like Janmashtami or any appearance day, it starts at sunrise?
Well, what I'm saying is you can look in the Panchang and give the exact time that lunar day starts, like Janmashtami, when the Ashtami actually starts. Okay, you can look on your Panchang and tell you what time in the morning it's actually starting. It may be very early, it may be later on, but at a practicality, that's the day, and Mangalarti is the first service of the day, and so I don't think there's much value in splitting hairs over all of that. Our philosophy is we're hearing and chanting every single day, and but if you want to really, really know when does this Ashtami for Janmashtami start, you can look up in the Panchang.
Sometimes both days.
Yeah, and sometimes because it's lunar and solar days overlap, you'll see all kinds of things going on. But we try to keep it very, very simple, and there's no loss for us to keeping it simple. No loss whatsoever. So spiritual masters told us to keep it simple, and we're glorifying Krishna every single day. A lot of these statements in the scriptures about how beneficial these days are, it really is to bring people who don't perform devotional service in.
Right.
Because they're not, they wouldn't do it. Oh, you come to the temple. Why don't devotees come to the temple every single day? Why do they come just in Kartik? Or why do they come, the first day of the years? Why aren't you coming every single day? Because I heard if you come on this day, you get some real special benefit. Just like sometimes people, the Shraddha ceremony, they go to Gaya because they heard if you do it in Gaya, you don't have to do it anymore the rest of your life for your parents. Now, are they doing it for the benefit of the parents or for their benefits because they didn't want to deal with it? Right? No, I did it. I did it in Gaya, so I don't have to do it anymore. So the point is, because we're going to Mangalarti every day, we're chanting Hare Krishna every day, we're going to the Bhagavatam every day, we're already on the boat. And that is an add-on for us. But a lot of these statements are to encourage people. They're true, but they encourage people who don't usually engage in these activities to step up. It's like a sale. Yeah, Jaya Pataka Maharaj once he said it's like Nordstrom's having a 90% off sale. It's like all the ladies would be running out the door right now. Wow, Nordstrom's 90% off, right? So wow, Kartik, yeah, I'm going to offer that lamp every day, because otherwise they don't think much of it. So Balaram Prabhu. your thoughts.
A different note. It's Ramapati's birthday today, so if everyone could wish him best
Hare
wishes.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He's a Kartik baby. He's ageless. So is there a special, did you cook for him this morning, something special? Okay. Any other questions or comments? And bring it back to the beginning. So everyone should think about something they can do, something special in the month of Kartik. It can be very simple, it can be very, or not. Like I said, you can add another hour to your service. You can, whatever it is, just a little something is good during this month. A little Damodar Brat. And if you have trouble thinking of something, ask Balaram. He's the temple president. He'll give you some extra service. Okay? All glories to Srila Prabhupada.